Blessed Shabbat, brothers and sisters, Hebrews in Jamaica, the Caribbeans, the West, to the four corners of the earth scattered greetings. This Shabbat lesson is the series continues, Adam and Eve, part 2, right? Adam and Eve, part 2, brothers and sisters. And we're going to pick it up at chapter 21. Adam and Eve attempted suicide. Then Adam and Eve went in search of the garden, and the heat bent like and the heat beat like a flame on their faces, and they sweated from the heat and wept before Yahuwah. But the place where they wept was nigh unto a high mountain facing the western gate of the garden. Then Adam threw himself down from the top of that mountain. His face was torn, and his flesh was flayed. Much blood flowed from him, and he was nigh unto death. Meanwhile Eve remained standing on the mountain, weeping over him, thus lying. And she said, I wish not to live after him, for all that he did to himself was through me. Then she threw herself after him, and was torn and scorched by stones, and remained lying as dead. But the merciful Elohim, who looks upon his creatures, looked upon Adam and Eve as they lay dead, and he sent his word unto them and raised them, and said to Adam, O Adam, all this misery which thou hast wrought upon thyself will not avail against my rule, neither will it alter the covenant of the 5,000 years. Chapter 22. Adam in a trivialous mood. Then Adam said to Eliakim, I wither in the heat, and I am faint from walking, and am lost of this world, and I know not when thou wilt bring me out of it to rest. Then Yahuwah Elohim said unto him, O Adam, it cannot be at present, not until thou hast ended thy days, then shall I bring thee out of this wretched land. And Adam said to Eliakim, while I was in the garden, I knew neither heat nor languor, neither moving about, nor trembling, nor fear. But now, since I came to this land, all this affliction has come upon me. Then Elohim said to Adam, so long as thou wast keeping my commandments, you see, brothers and sisters, that's the key. That's the key. So long as thou hast keeping my commandment, my light and my grace rested on thee. But when thou didst transgress my commandments, right? When thou hast sinned, right? Because sin is a transgression of the law. When thou didst transgress my commandment, sorrow and misery befell there in this land. You see that? The Most High liked to explain himself, brothers and sisters, so as he could understand why things happen the way they do and why he does what he does. Right? Let me read this over again, brothers and sisters. So long as thou was keeping my commandment, my light and my grace rested on thee. But when thou didst transgress my commandments, sorrow and misery befell thee in this land. And Adam wept and said, O Yahuwah, do not cut me off, for this neither smite me with heavy plagues, nor yet repay me according to my sin. For we of our own will did transgress thy commandments, and forsook thy law, and sought to become gods like unto thee, when Hashatan, the enemy, deceive us. And like I said, brothers and sisters, this very same act and attitude is happening today in this modern time. So-called black women, and they seem portraying them and put them on the spell as goddesses. And you male walking around like you're God. That's the spirit of Hashatan. That's within you. That's deceiving you, like how deceive our forefathers Adam and Eve in the garden. Make you think like you're some type of God or above the Most High. It's not happening only on the local level per se or among the people, also in government. You understand, brothers and sisters? Right? Verse 6. Then Elohim said again unto Adam, because thou hast borne fear and trembling in this land, thou hast borne fear and trembling in this land, languor and suffering, treading and walking about, going upon this mountain and dying from it. I will take all this upon myself in order to save thee. Right? Chapter 23. Adam and Eve girt themselves and make the first altar ever built. Then Adam wept more and said, O Elohim, have mercy on me, so far as to take upon thee that which I will do. But Elohim took his word from Adam and Eve. Then Adam and Eve stood on their feet, and Adam said to Eve, Gird thyself, and I also will gird myself. And she girded herself as Adam told her. Then Adam and Eve took stones and placed them in the shape of an altar, and they took leaves from the tree outside the garden, with which they wiped from the face of the rock the blood they had spilled. But that which had dropped on the sand they took together with the dust wherewith it was mingled, and offered it upon the altar as an offering unto Elohim. Then Adam and Eve stood under the altar and wept, thus entreating Elohim, forgive us our trespass and our sin, and look upon us with thine eye of mercy. For when we were in the garden, our praises and our hymns went up before thee without ceasing. But when we came into this strange land, pure praise was no longer ours, nor righteous prayer, nor understanding hearts, nor sweet thoughts, nor just counsel, nor long discernment, nor upright feelings, neither is our bright nature left us, but our body is changed from the similitude in which it was at first when we were created. Yet now look upon our blood which is offered upon this stone, and accept it at our hands like the praise we used to sing unto thee at first when in the garden. And Adam began to make more requests unto Elohim. Right, brothers and sisters, here's the original prayer, right, that our forefathers Adam and foremother Eve prayed. The original of Yahweh's prayer, said to be used about 150 years before our Yahweh, our Adonai. Our Father who art in heaven, be gracious unto us, O Yahweh, our Elohim. Hallowed be thy name, and let the remembrance of thee be glorified in heaven above and upon earth below. Let thy kingdom reign over us now and forever. The holy men of old said, remit and forgive unto all men whatsoever they have done unto me. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil thing. For thine is the kingdom, and thou shalt reign in glory forever and forevermore. Amen. Right, brothers and sisters? So, we are chapter 24, brothers and sisters. A vivid prophecy of the life and death of the Mashiach. Then the merciful Elohim, good and lover of men, looked upon Adam and Eve and upon their blood, which they had held up as an offering unto him. without an order from him for so doing. But he wondered at them and accepted their offerings. And Elohim sent from his presence a bright fire that consumed their offering. He smelt the sweet savor of their offering and showed them mercy. Then came the word of Elohim to Adam and said unto him, O Adam, as thou hast shed thy blood, so will I shed my own blood when I become flesh of thy seed. And as thou didst die, O Adam, so also will I die. And as thou didst build an altar, so also will I make for thee an altar on the earth. So you see, brothers and sisters, all throughout this interaction, Adam and Eve with the Most High Yahuwah, many times Adam killed himself and Eve also. But you see, just the word alone of the Most High raise them up again and again, and I bring them back to life again and again and again. That's the power and mystery. That's the power and mystery of the Most High, right? And that's just a little bit. That is not even the fullness thereof, but just a glimpse of the power of the Most High, brothers and sisters, right? His word alone, he said, "Let there be light," and there was. His word is creation, and the word is Yahusha. Yahusha Mashiach, brothers and sisters. Right? And as thou didst offer thy blood upon it, so also will I offer my blood upon an altar on the earth. And as thou didst sue for forgiveness through that blood, so also will I make my blood forgiveness of sin and blot out transgression in it. And now, behold, I have accepted thy offering, O Adam, but the days of thy covenant wherein I have bound thee are not fulfilled. When they are fulfilled, then will I bring thee back into the garden. Now, therefore, straighten thine heart, and when sorrow comes upon thee, make me an offering, and I will be favorable to thee. Right? Chapter 25. God represented as merciful and loving, the establishing of worship. But Elohim knew that Adam had in his thoughts that he should often kill himself and make an offering to him of his blood. Therefore did he say unto him, O Adam, do not again kill thyself, as thou didst, by throwing thyself down from that mountain. But Adam said unto Elohim, it was in my mind to put an end to myself at once, for having transgressed thy commandments, and for my having come out of the beautiful garden. You see that? Oh, if my people would have the love like how Adam and Eve had for their father, Yahuwah, and be regretful and be shameful, right? And be convicted for breaking the commandments of the Most High to the point of wanting to take your life, brothers and sisters. You understand? That's how grievous their heart was when they know and perceive to break the commandments of the Most High. That's love. That's utter regret. That's remorsefulness, brothers and sisters. You see, fast forward today, these vagabonds, generation of vipers, shameless, effeminate generation, Elohim is not in their bonds. They neither seek him nor think about him. Only time they think about the Most High is when they're back against the wall and when they're in danger and they need some type of deliverance. And after that deliverance, they go right back into their wickedness, brothers and sisters. As if nothing ever happened. Right? Right, brothers and sisters? You see? Right? Let's continue. And for the bright light of which thou hast deprived me, and for the praise which poured forth from my mouth without ceasing, and for the light that covered me. Brothers and sisters, this is the love they have for the Most High. You see what I mean? They were in turmoil, the spirit was in turmoil, right? To the point they continue to take their lives, brothers and sisters. You know? Fast forward in this time, it's against the law of the Most High to take one's life, your own life. You understand, brothers and sisters? But the point I'm bringing across to you is that if you have that connection with the Most High, you have that intimate relationship with the Most High, and when you do some out of the laws of the Most High, the person who does that, his heart is grieved, just like his father Adam. You understand? So it's a form of spiritual death in this time. You understand what I'm saying? It's a form of spiritual death, brothers. So therefore your heart is heavy and your heart is grievous, and you want to cry out to the Most High for mercy and grace. This is what this represents in this modern time. In my father's time, Adam had four mothers, Eve time, right? In their times, my forefather Adam and foremother Eve, in that time, that's what they did, right? In the beginning of creation, right? And the Most High continually sent His word and raise him up, just like how He rose His son up on the third day, Saturday, when he was in the grave 3 days and 3 nights. In this time, the upright that follow the commandments and keep them, when they sin out of the commandment, when they sin against the commandment, they receive a spiritual death, a grievous heart, a heavy mind, right? And that cause them out to cry out to the Most High for mercy and grace, brothers and sisters. So that is the explanation in this modern time, right? And for the praises which poured forth from my mouth without ceasing, and for the light that covered me. Yet of thy goodness, O Eliakim, do not, yet in thy goodness, O Eliakim, do not away with me altogether, but be favorable to me. Every time I die, I bring me to life, and bring me to life. And thereby it will be made known that thou art a merciful Eliakim, who willest not that one should perish, who lovest not that one should fall, and who doest not condemn any one cruelly, badly, and by a whole destruction. Then Adam remained silent, and the word of Eliakim came unto him, and blessed him, and comforted him, and, and covenanted with him, that he would save him at the end of the days determined upon him. This then was the first offering Adam made unto Eliakim, and so it became his custom to do. Chapter 26, a beautiful prophecy of eternal life and joy, the fall of night. Then Adam and Eve and they began to return to the cave of treasures where they dwelt. But when they neared it and saw it from afar, heavy sorrow fell upon Adam and Eve when they looked at it. Then Adam said to Eve, when we are at the mountain, when we were on the mountain, we were comforted by the word of Eliakim that conversed with us, and the light that came from the east shone over us. But now the word of Eliakim is hidden from us, and the light that shone over us is so changed as to disappear, and let darkness and sorrow come upon us. And we were forced to enter this cave, which is like a prison, wherein darkness covered us, so that we are parted from each other, and thou canst not see me, neither can I see thee. When Adam had said these words, they wept and spread their hands before Eliakim, for they were full of sorrow. And they entreated Eliakim to bring the sun to them, to shine on them, so that darkness return not upon them, and they come not again under this covering of rock. And they wished to die rather than see the darkness. Then Eliakim looked upon Adam and Eve, upon their great sorrow, and upon all they had done with a fervent heart, on account of all the trouble they were in, instead of their former well being, and on account of all the misery that came upon them in a strange land. Therefore Eliakim was not wroth with them, nor impatient with them, but he was longsuffering and forbearing towards them, as towards the children he had created. Then came the word of Eliakim to Adam, and said unto him, Adam, as for the sun, if I were to take it and bring it to thee, days, hours, years, and months would all come to naught, and the covenant I made with thee would never be fulfilled. But thou shouldest then be turned and left in a long plague, and no salvation would be left to thee forever. Yea, rather, bear long and calm thy soul. See? Yea, rather, bear long and calm thy soul, while thou abidest night and day, until the fulfillment of the days and the time of my covenant is come. Then shall I come and save thee, O Adam, for I do not wish that thou be afflicted. And when I look at all the good things in which thou didst live, and why thou camest out of them, then would I willingly show thee mercy. But I cannot alter the covenant that has gone out of my mouth, else would I have brought thee back into the garden. When, however, the covenant is fulfilled, then shall I show thee and thy seed mercy, and bring thee into a land of gladness, where there is neither sorrow nor suffering, but abiding joy and gladness, and light that never fails, and praises that never cease, and a beautiful garden that shall never pass away. And Eliakim said again unto Adam, Be long suffering, and enter the cave, for the darkness of which thou was afraid shall only be 12 hours long. And when ended, light shall arise. Then when Adam heard these words from Eliakim, he and Eve worshipped before him, and their hearts were comforted. They returned into the cave after their custom, while tears flowed from their eyes, sorrow and wailing came from their hearts, and they wished their soul would leave their body. And Adam and Eve stood praying until the darkness of night came upon them, and Adam was hid from Eve, and she from him, and they remained standing in prayer. Chapter 27. The second tempting of Adam and Eve, the devil takes on the form of a beguiling light. Right? The scripture talk about how Hashatan can take the form of light of angels. Let's go to that scriptures, brothers and sisters. Alright, brothers and sisters. 1 John 4:1. Turn the scriptures to 1 John 4:1. Right, brothers and sisters? Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of Eliakim, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Right? 2 Corinthians 11:14. And no marvel, for Hashatan himself is transformed into an angel of light, brothers and sisters. Let me repeat it again. 2 Corinthians 11:14. And no marvel, for Hashatan himself is transformed into an angel of light. So the devil can be transformed, or he can transform himself in many shapes and forms. Right, brothers and sisters? Right? Alright, so let's continue. When Satan, the hater of all good, saw how they continued in prayer and how Elohim communed with them and comforted them, and how he had accepted their offering, Satan made an apparition. He began with transforming his hosts. In his hands was a flashing fire, and they were in a great light, and then placed his throne near the mouth of the cave, because he could not enter into it by reason of their prayers. You see that? Right? A chapter they keep the devil away, brothers and sisters. Right? And he shed light into the cave unto the cave glistened over Adam and Eve, while his hosts began to sing praises. And Satan did this in order that when Adam saw the light, he should think within himself that it was a heavenly light, and that Satan's hosts were angels, and that Elohim had sent them to watch at the cave and to give him light in the darkness. So that when Adam came out of the cave and saw them, and Adam and Eve bowed to Satan, then he would overcome Adam thereby, and a second time humble him before Elohim. When therefore Adam and Eve saw the light, fancy it was real, they strengthened their hearts. Yet as they were trembling, Adam said to Eve, look at the great light, and at those many songs of praises, and as that host standing outside, that do not come in to us. You see that, brothers and sisters? The description Adam was describing how Hashatan sing songs of praises. You have to remember, brothers and sisters, before Hashatan fell, he was Lucifer in the heavens. You understand? And he was in charge of music. You see, brothers and sisters. So he know the praise of the Most High. He know the songs of the Most High, because he was part of that choir. He was an archangel before he developed his own pride and become the father of lies thereof and deceit. Right? Do not tell us what they say, or whence they come, or what is the meaning of this light, what those praises are, wherefore they have been sent hither, and why they do not come in. If they were from Elohim, they would come to us in the cave, and would tell us their errand. Then Adam stood up and prayed unto Elohim with a fervent heart, and said, O Yahuwah, is there in the world another Elohim than thou, who created angels and filled them with light and sent them to keep us, who wouldest come with them? But lo, we see these hosts that stand at the mouth of the cave. They were in a great light, they sing loud praises. If they are of some other Elohim, then thou tell me, and if they are sent by thee, inform me of the reason for which thou hast sent them. No sooner had Adam said this, then an angel from Elohim appeared unto them in the cave, who said unto him, O Adam, fear not, this is Satan and his host. He wishes to deceive you, as he deceived you at first. For the first time he was hidden in the serpent, but this time he is come to you in the similitude of an angel of light, in order that when you worship him, he might enthrall you in the very presence of Elohim. Then the angel went from Adam and seized Hashatan, and at the opening of the cave, and stripped him of the feint he had assumed, and brought him in his own hideous form to Adam and Eve, who were afraid of him when they saw him. And the angel said to Adam, this hideous form has been his ever since Elohim made him fall from heaven. He could not have come near you in it. Therefore did he transform himself into an angel of light. Then the angel drove away Satan and his hosts from Adam and Eve, and said unto them, fear not, Elohim who created you will strengthen you. And the angel went from them, and Adam and Eve remained standing in the cave. No consolation came to them. They were divided in their thoughts. And when it was morning, they prayed and then went out to seek the garden, for their hearts were towards it, and they could get no consolation for having left it. Chapter 28. The devil pretends to lead Adam and Eve to the water to bathe. But when the wily Satan saw them that they were going to the garden he gathered together his host and came in appearance upon a cloud, intent on deceiving them. But when Adam and Eve saw him thus in a vision, they thought they were angels of Elohim come to comfort them about their having left the garden, or to bring them back again into it. And Adam spread his hands unto Elohim, beseeching him to make him understand what they were. Then Hashatan, the hater of all good, said unto Adam, O Adam, I am an angel of the great Elohim, and behold, the hosts that surround me. Elohim has sent me and them to take thee and bring thee to the border of the garden northwards to the shore of the clear sea. Right? This sound familiar, brothers and sisters? It's the same way how Hashatan appeared, right, unto the Mashiach when he was fasting. I bring him upon the mountain and show him all these things to try to deceive the Most High, right? It's the same thing happening to our father Adam, right? Let's go over it again. Verse 5. Elohim has sent me and them to take thee and bring thee to the border of the garden northwards to the shore of the clear sea, and bathe thee and Eve in it, and raise you to your former gladness, that ye return again to the garden. These words sank into the heart of Adam and Eve, yet Elohim withheld his word from Adam and did not make him understand at once, but waited to see his strength, whether he would be overcome as Eve was when he in the garden, or whether he would prevail. The Hashatan called to Adam and Eve and said, Behold, we go to the sea of water. And they began to go, and Adam and Eve followed them at some little distance. But when they came to the mountain to the north of the garden, a very high mountain without any steps to the top of it, the devil drew near to Adam and Eve and made them go up to the top in reality and not in a vision, wishing as he did to throw them down and kill them, and to wipe off their name from the earth, so that this earth should remain to him and his hosts alone. Right? Chapter 29. Elohim tells Adam of the devil's purpose. But when the merciful Elohim saw that Satan wished to kill Adam with his manifold devices, and saw that Adam was meek and without guile, Elohim spake unto Satan in a loud voice, and cursed him. Then he and his hosts fled, and Adam and Eve remained standing on the top of the mountain, whence they saw below them the wide world, high above which they were. But they saw none of the hosts which and none were by them. They wept both Adam and Eve before Elohim and begged for forgiveness of him. Then came the word of Elohim to Adam and said unto him, Now know thou and understand concerning this Hashatan, that he seek to deceive thee and thy seed after thee. And Adam wept before Yahweh Elohim and begged and entreated him to give him something from the garden as a token to him, wherein to be comforted. And Elohim looked upon Adam's thought and sent the angel Michael as far as the sea that reached unto India, to take from thence golden rods and bring them to Adam. This did Elohim in his wisdom, in order that these golden rods, being with Adam in the cave, should shine forth with light in the night around him, and put an end to his fear of the darkness. Then the angel Michael went down by Elohim's order, took the golden rods as Elohim had commanded him, and brought them to Elohim. Chapter 30. Adam received the first worldly goods. After these things, Elohim commanded the angel Gabriel to go down to the garden and say to the cherub who kept it, Behold, Elohim has commanded me to come into the garden and to take thence sweet smelling incense and give it to Adam. Then the angel Gabriel went down by Elohim's order in the garden and took the cherub as Elohim had commanded him. The cherub then said, Well, and Gabriel went in and took the incense. Then Elohim commanded his angel Raphael to go down to the garden and speak to the cherub about some myrrh to give to Adam. And the angel Raphael went down and took the cherub as Elohim had commanded him. And the cherub said, Well. Then Raphael went in and took the myrrh. The golden rods were from the Indian Sea, where there are precious stones. The incense was from the eastern border of the garden, and the myrrh from the western border, whence bitterness came upon Adam. See, west bitterness, you see that? Right? Are we not facing bitterness in the west? Yashrael, the sinners of Hebrew slaves, whither we scattered? Huh? Verse 7. And the angels brought these three things to Elohim by the tree of life in the garden. Then Elohim said to the angels, Dip them in the spring of water, then take them and sprinkle their water over Adam and Eve, that they be a little comforted in their sorrow, and give them to Adam and Eve. And the angels did as Elohim had commanded them, and they gave all those things to Adam and Eve on the top of the mountain upon which Hashatan had placed them, when he sought to make an end of them. And when Adam saw the golden rods, the incense, and the myrrh, you see those three gifts, right, brothers and sisters? What that reminds you of, brothers and sisters, those three gifts. Those three gifts is the same gift that was given to the Mashiach, Yahushua Mashiach, at his birth. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh, brothers and sisters. You see how everything ties in? Because you have to go back to the beginning to find the end, and the end to find the beginning, brothers and sisters. That's why I encourage you to see the Most High laws, commandments, and statutes, and rightfully divide his word and study properly and put things in context. Because the scriptures fulfill itself. The scriptures describe itself, brothers and sisters. You understand? The scriptures interpret itself, brothers and sisters. So you see that, right? And when Adam saw the golden rods, so the golden rod represent the gold that the Mashiach received at his birth. Right? The incense the Mashiach also received. Right? At his birth, when the three wise men came to him with the gifts. And the myrrh, brothers and sisters. You see that? So the Most High Yahuwah, all from the beginning of time, established salvation for Yashrael. Because he knew Yashrael was going to sin and they needed a savior. So he established it before the creation of the earth, before the foundation of the earth, brothers and sisters. The Most High already established these things. Right? And he was rejoiced and wept because he thought that the gold was a token of the kingdom whence he had come, that the incense was a token of the bright light which had been taken from him, and that the myrrh was a token of the sorrow in which he was Chapter 31. Chapter 31. They make themselves more comfortable in the cave of treasures on the third day. After these things, Elohim said unto Adam, Thou didst ask of me something from the garden to be comforted therewith, and I have given thee these three tokens as a consolation to thee, that thou trust in me and in my covenant with thee. For I will come and save thee, and kings shall bring me when in the flesh gold, incense, and myrrh. The same thing I said prior, right? Gold as a token, gold as a token of my kingdom, incense as a token of my divinity, and myrrh as a token of my suffering and of my death. So you see, the Most High Yahuwah explained those three significant gifts, and they have meaning. Let's go over it again, right? Verse 2, For I will come and save thee, and kings. So the kings in the last book of the Bible, forgotten book of Eden, is connected to the three wise men. Right? Right, brothers and sisters? The three wise men from the east. Right? Right, brothers and sisters? For I will come and save thee. Right? So we know if they're coming from the east, the three wise men, it couldn't be no eastern star. It had to be a western star that was leading them, brothers and sisters. But nevertheless, the kings in this chapter is talking about the three wise men, right? And shall bring me when in the flesh. So he's talking about when he manifests in the flesh, right? Which is Yahusha, right? Which is Yahusha, right, brothers and sisters? That's what he's talking about when he comes in the flesh of his son, Yahusha, right? Yahusha al-Mashiach, right? Gold, incense, and myrrh, right? The gold as a token of my kingdom, incense as a token of my divinity, and myrrh as a token of my suffering and my death. So you have those three definitions of what those three gifts means. All right, verse 3. But, O Adam, put these by thee in the cave, the gold that it may shed light over thee by night, the incense that thou smell is sweet savor, and the myrrh to comfort thee in thy sorrow. And when Adam heard these words from Elohim, he worshipped. He worshipped before him, and he and Eve worshipped him and gave him thanks because he had dealt mercifully with them. Then Elohim commanded the three angels, Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, each to bring what he had brought and give it to Adam, and they did so one by one. Right? And Elohim commanded Soriel and Salathiel to bear up Adam and Eve and bring them down from the top of the high mountain and to take them to the cave of treasures. There they laid the gold on the south side of the cave, the incense on the eastern side, and the myrrh on the western side. For the mouth of the cave was on the north side. The angels then comforted Adam and Eve and departed. The gold was 70 rods. The gold was 70 rods, the incense 12 pounds, and the myrrh 3 pounds. Right? These remained by Adam in the house of treasures. Therefore was it called of concealment, but other interpreters say it was called the cave of treasures by reason of the body of righteous men that were in it. These three things did Elohim give to Adam on the third day after he had come out of the garden, in token of 3 days Yahuwah should remain in the heart of the earth. So you see the significance of these things, brothers and sisters. The Most High worked in order. You see, the Most High worked with numbers. You see, brothers and sisters. 7, 3, 12, 24, 40. You understand, brothers and sisters? Chapter 32. Adam and Eve go into the water to pray, right? And Adam and Eve remain in the cave of treasures until the 70th day. They neither ate of the fruit of the earth nor drank water. And when it dawned on the 8th day, Adam said to Eve, Eve, O Eve, we prayed Elohim to give us somewhat from the garden, and he sent his angels who brought us what we had desired. But now, arise, let us go to the sea of water we saw at first, and let us stand in it, praying that Elohim will again be favorable to us and take us back into the garden, or give us something, or that he will give us comfort in some other land than this in which we were. Then Adam and Eve came out of the cave, went and stood on the border of the sea in which they had before thrown themselves. And Adam said to Eve, Come, go down into this place, and come not out of it until the end of 30 days, when I shall come to thee and pray to Elohim with fervent heart and a sweet voice to forgive us. And I will go to another place and go down into it and do like thee. Then Eve went down into the water as Adam had commanded her. Adam also went down into the water, and they stood praying and besought Yahuwah to forgive them their offense and to restore them to their former state. And they stood thus praying unto the end of the 35 days. Right? Chapter 33. Satan falsely promised the bright light, but Hashatan, the hater of all good, sought them in the cave, but found them not. Although he searched diligently for them, but he found them standing in the water praying, and thought within himself, Adam and Eve are thus standing in that water, beseeching Elohim to forgive them their transgressions, and to restore them to their former estate, and to take them from under my hand. But I will deceive them so that they shall come out of the water and not fulfill their vows. Then the hater of all good went not to Adam, but he went to Eve. You see that, just as before in the garden, he did not come to Adam because Adam was a split image of the Most High. So he go to Eve, the weaker link, the weaker side, and convince her that she's a goddess. Just like what's happening today, brothers and sisters. Society, social media, the simple-minded simp men out there put these women on a pedestal as some type of goddesses. You're working with the spirit of Hashatan, the spirit of the Antichrist, and I tell you, repent, brothers and sisters, and come back to these laws, commandments, and statutes. You vagabond Jews, so-called black people, come back to the Most High, right? Praising and rejoicing, and said to her, Peace be unto thee. Be glad and rejoice, Elohim is favorable unto you, and he sent me to Adam. I have brought him the glad tidings of salvation, and of his being filled with bright light, as he was at first. And Adam in his joy for his restoration has sent me to thee, that thou come to me, in order that I crown thee with light like him. And he said to me, Speak unto Eve. If she does not come with thee, tell her of the sign when we were on the top of the mountain, how Elohim sent his angel, who took us and brought us to the cave of treasures. So see how beguiled and slippery and deceitful Hashatan is. He's the father of lies, brothers and sisters. He invented it. He invented that. He invented pride. He developed pride and developed lies and deceit. That's why the scriptures say he's the father of lies. So he invented that on his own. Yes, I mean, brothers and sisters, right? and laid the gold on the southern side, and incense on the eastern side, and myrrh on the western side. Now come to him. When Eve heard these words from him, she rejoiced greatly, and thinking that Hashatan's appearance was real, she came out of the sea. He went before, and she followed him until they came to Adam. Then Hashatan he hid himself from her, and she saw him no more. She then came and stood before Adam, who was standing by the water and rejoicing in Eliakim's forgiveness. And as she called to Adam, he turned round, found her there, and wept. And he saw her and smote upon his breast, and from the bitterness of his grief he sank into the water. Wow. Wow. Right? Wow. Verse 12. And Elohim looked upon him and upon his misery and upon his being about to breathe his last. And the word of Elohim came from heaven, raised him out of the water, and said unto him, Go up the high bank to Eve. And when he came up to Eve, he said unto her, Who said to thee, Come hither? Then she told him the discourse of the angel who had appeared unto her and had given her a sign. But Adam grieved and gave her to know. But Adam grieved and gave her to know it was Satan. He then took her, and they both returned to the cave. These things happened to them the second time they went down to the water, 7 days after their coming out of the garden. They fasted in the water 35 days, altogether 42 days since they had left the garden. Right? Chapter 34. Adam recalls the creation of Eve. He eloquently appeals for food and drink. And on the morning of the 43rd day they came out of the cave sorrowful and weeping. Their bodies were lean and they were parched from hunger and thirst, from fasting and praying, and from their heavy sorrow on account of their transgression. And when they had come out of the cave, they went up the mountain to the west of the garden. There they stood and prayed and besought Elohim to grant them forgiveness of their sins. And after their prayers, Adam began to entreat Elohim, saying, O my Yahuwah, my Elohim, and my Creator, thou didst command the four elements to be gathered together, and they were gathered together by thine order. Then thou spreadest thy hand and didst create me out of one element, that of dust of the earth, and thou didst bring me into the garden at the third hour on a Friday, and didst inform me of it in the cave. Then at first I knew neither night nor day, for I had a bright nature, neither did the light in which I live ever leave me to know night or day. Then again, O Yahuwah, in that third hour in which thou didst created me, thou broughtest to me all beasts, and lions, and orchards, and fowls of the air, and all things that move in the earth, which thou hadst created at the first hour before me of the Friday. And they will was that I should name them all one by one with a suitable name, but thou gavest me understanding and knowledge, and a pure heart, and a right mind from thee, that I should name them after thine own mind regarding the naming of them. And Elohim, thou madest them obedient to me, and didst order them, not one of them break from my sway, according to the commandments and to the dominion which thou hast given me over them. But now they are all estranged from me. Then it was in that third hour of Friday in which thou didst created me and didst command me concerning the tree, to which I was neither to draw near nor to eat thereof, for thou didst for thou saidst to me in the garden, when thou eatest of it, of that thou shalt die. And if thou hadst punished me as thou saidst, with death I should have died that very moment. Moreover, moreover, when thou commandest me regarding the tree, I was neither to approach nor to eat thereof. Eve was not with me, right? Eve was not with me. Thou hadst not yet created her, neither hast thou yet taken her out of my sight, nor had she yet heard these orders from thee. Then at the end of the third hour of that Friday, O Yahweh, thou didst cause a slumbering and a sleep to come over me, and I slept, and I was overwhelmed in sleep. Then thou didst draw a rib out of my side, and created it after my own similitude and image. Then I awoke, and when I saw her, I knew who she was. I said, this is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. Henceforth she shall be called woman. That's where the name or the term woman come from the man, from the side of the man, right? That is also literal for Adam in those days of creation, and is also a spiritual in this modern era. A man and a woman supposed to be walking side by side in unison, in unity. That's where marriage come in. When you're single, you're two people. When you're married, you become one. You understand, brothers and sisters? Right? It was of thy good will, O Elohim, that thou broughtest a slumber and a sleep over me, and that thou didst forthwith bring Eve out of my sight until she was out, so that I did not see how she was made, neither could I witness. O my Yahuwah, how awful and great are thy goodness and glory, and of thy good will. O Yahuwah, thou madest us both with bodies of a bright nature, and thou madest us two, one, and thou gavest us thy grace. Right? See, thou madest two, right? So they were single, two, until they become one. So the Mosai was the first priest to preside over Adam and Eve in marriage. Because see right here, it's telling you, thou madest us two. So if you're two, you what? Man and woman, they're single, you're not in no communion. Right? Until they become one. Let me read it over again so you can understand this parable. And of thy good will, O Yahuwah, thou madest us both with bodies of bright nature, and thou madest us two, one, and thou gavest us thy grace. You see that? Grace, blessings. Get married, right? They were married, and didst fill us with praise of thy Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodesh, that we should be neither hungry nor thirsty, nor know what sorrow is, nor yet faintness of heart, neither suffering, fasting, nor weariness. But now, O Elohim, since we transgressed thy commandment and broke thy law, thou hast brought us out into a strange land, and hast caused suffering and faintness, hunger and thirst to come upon us. Now, therefore, O Elohim, we pray thee, give us something to eat from the garden to satisfy our hunger with it, and something wherewith to quench our thirst. For behold, many days, O Elohim, we have tasted nothing and drunk nothing, and our flesh is dried up, and our strength is wasted, and sleep is gone from our eyes from faintness and weeping. Then, O Eliakim, we dare not gather aught of the fruit of trees from fear of thee. For when we transgressed at first, thou didst spare us and didst not make us die. But now we thought in our hearts, if we eat of the fruit of trees without Eliakim's order, he will destroy us this time and will wipe us off from the face of the earth. And if we drink of this water without Eliakim's order, he will make an end of us and root us out at once. Now, therefore, O Eliakim, that I am come to this place with Eve, we beg thou wilt give us of the fruit of the garden that we may be satisfied with it. For we desire the fruit that is on the earth and all else that we lack in it. Right? Chapter 35. Eliakim's reply. Chapter 35, brothers and sisters. Eliakim's reply. Then Eliakim looked again upon Adam and his weeping and groaning, and the word of Eliakim came to him and said unto him, O Adam, when thou wast in my garden, thou knewest neither eating nor drinking. This is what I like with the Most High, brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? Before our forefather and Adam and foremother Eve beckoned to the Most High for petition of some type of gift or mercy, he liked to explain why before he render his judgment, whether good or whether bad. You understand? He likes to explain why he does what he does, that those who receive in judgment will understand why it is happening and not just get caught off by surprise. Oh yeah, why God is not merciful? Why he didn't do? No, the Most High always give us mercy, but we refuse to see it. We refuse to acknowledge it. So then, when the judgment comes, don't complain, brothers and sisters. Right? Chapter 35. Eliakim's reply. Then Eliakim looked again upon Adam and his weeping and groaning, and the word of Eliakim came to him and said unto him, O Adam, when thou was in my garden, thou knewest neither eating nor drinking, neither faintness nor suffering, neither leanness of flesh nor change, neither did sleep depart from thine eyes. But since thou transgressed and camest into this strange land, all these trials are come upon thee. Chapter 36. The figs. Then Eliakim commanded the cherub who kept the gate of the garden with a sword of fire in his hand to take some of the fruit of the fig tree and to give it to Adam. The cherub obeyed the command of Yahweh Eliakim and went into the garden and brought 2 figs on 2 twigs, each fig hanging to itself. They were from 2 of the trees among which Adam and Eve hid themselves when Eliakim went to walk in the garden. And the word of Eliakim came to Adam and Eve and said unto them, Adam, Adam, where art thou? And Adam answered, O Eliakim, here am I. When I heard the sound of thee and thy voice, I hid myself because I am naked. Then the cherub took 2 figs and brought them to Adam and Eve, but he threw them to them from afar, for they might not come near the cherub by reason of their flesh that could not come near the fire. At first, angels trembled at the presence of Adam. You see that? At first, angels trembled at the presence of Adam and were afraid of him. Because you know why they were afraid of Adam? Because he was a split image of Yahuwah. You don't know, like how we have twins and the twins look just like each other? That's Adam, split image of Yahuwah. That is why the angels feared him. When they saw Adam, they see the Mashiach. They see the Creator. Right? That is why they fear him. There's no other reasoning or explanation more than he was a split image of the Mashiach. Right? At first, the angels trembled at the presence of Adam and were afraid of him. but now Adam was afraid of them. You see the reverse role, right? Then Adam drew near and took one fig, and Eve also came in turn and took the other. And as they took them up in their hands, they looked at them and knew they were from the tree among which they had hidden themselves. Chapter 37. 43 days of penance do not redeem 1 hour of sin. Then Adam said to Eve, seest thou not these figs and their leaves with which we covered ourselves when we were stripped out our bright nature, but now we know not what misery and suffering may come upon us from eating them. Now therefore, O Eve, let us restrain ourselves and not eat of them, thou and I, and let us ask Elohim to give us of the fruit of the tree of life. Thus did Adam and Eve restrain themselves and did not eat of these figs. But Adam began to pray to Elohim and to beseech him to give him of the fruit of the tree of life, saying thus, O Elohim, when we transgressed thy commandment at the 6th hour of Friday, we were stripped of the bright nature we had and did not continue in the garden after our transgression more than 3 hours. But on the evening thou madest us come out of it, O Elohim, we transgressed against thee 1 hour, and all these trials and sorrows have come upon us until this day. And those days together with this, the 43rd day, do not redeem that 1 hour in which we transgressed. O Elohim, look upon us with an eye of pity, and do not requite us according to our transgression of thy commandments in presence of thee. And Elohim gave us of the fruit of the tree of life O Elohim, give us of the fruit of the tree of life, that we may eat of it and live, and turn not to see suffering and other trembling in this earth, for thou art Elohim. When we transgressed thy commandment, thou madest us come out of the garden, and didst send a cherub to keep the tree of life, lest we should eat thereof and live, and know nothing of faintness after we transgressed. But now, O Elohim, behold, we have endured all these days, and we have borne suffering. Make these 43 days an equivalent for the 1 hour in which we transgress. Chapter 38. When 5,500 years are fulfilled, after these things, the word of Elohim came to Adam and said unto him, O Adam, as to the fruit of the tree of life, for which thou askest, I will not give it to thee now, but when the 5,500 years are fulfilled, then will I give thee of the fruit of the tree of life, and thou shalt eat and live forever, thou and Eve and thy righteous seed. For these 43 days cannot make amends for the hour in which thou didst transgress my commandments. O Adam, I gave thee to eat of the fig tree in which thou didst hid thyself. Go and eat of it, thou and Eve, and I will not deny thy request, neither will I disappoint thy hope. Therefore, bear up unto the fulfillment of the covenant I made with thee. And Elohim withdrew his word from Adam. Chapter 39. Adam is courteous, but too late. Then Adam returned to Eve and said to her, arise and take a fig for thyself, and I will take another, and let us go to our cave. Then Adam and Eve took each a fig and went towards the cave. The time was about the setting of the sun, and their thoughts made them long to eat of the fruit. But Adam said to Eve, I am afraid to eat of this fig. I know not what may come upon me from it. So Adam wept and stood praying before Elohim, saying, Satisfy my hunger without me having to eat this fig, for after I have eaten it, what will it profit me, and what shall I desire and ask of thee, O Elohim, when it is gone? And he said again, I am afraid to eat of it, for I know not what will befall me through it. Chapter 40. The first human hunger. Then the word of Elohim came to Adam and said unto him, O Adam, why hadst thou not this dread, neither this fasting, nor this care, ere this? And why hadst thou not this fear before thou didst transgress? But when thou camest to dwell in this strange land, thy animal body could not be on earth without earthly food, to strengthen it and to restore its power. And Elohim withdrew his word from Adam. Alright, brothers and sisters, there in this series, right, of Adam and Eve, it will continue, brothers and sisters, a continuous series, right? So I hope you get something from or learn some lesson from Adam and Eve, right? It is a profound story, a truthful story, a real story, and no fairy tale, right? Because some of you like to, you know what I mean, push this notion of the scriptures or fairy tale is not real and try to mock the Most High and all sort of things. That's your prerogative. You could do what you want, but the word of thus said Yahuwah shall remain, and it is fulfilling daily in the world and world system, and especially in and among Yashrael, children of Yashrael, listeners of Hebrew slaves. So wake up, wake up, wake up, and come back to these laws, commandments, and statutes and His word, because that is the true healing, brothers and sisters. And there is nothing that can replace this true healing. Amen. Blessed be Yahuwah, and blessed be His Holy Son Yahushua, HaMashiach, on this fine Sabbath. Shalom.